All right, so I want you to do something for me. Picture an angel. Just what comes to mind? Probably something soft and gentle, right? Like a Christmas decoration. But what if I told you that the image we all have in our heads is, well, it's almost completely wrong. And the reality is a whole lot more terrifying.
Yeah, this is the one. This is the angel we all know. Serene, beautiful, basically a person with a pair of white wings. It's calming, it's reassuring, and it's absolutely everywhere in pop culture. We've been taught to see them as these peaceful, gentle guardians.
But here's the million-dollar question. Is that picture even remotely accurate? Because when you go back to the source material, to the Bible itself, a very, very different pattern shows up. The reaction people have isn't comforts or quiet awe. No, it's something way more primal. I mean, think about the shepherds from the Christmas story. An angel appears, and the text doesn't say they were amazed or inspired. It says they were sore afraid. Now, that's just an old-fashioned way of saying they were intensely, gut-wrenchingly horrified. And believe me, it gets even more dramatic than that. When an angel shows up at Jesus' tomb, the Roman guards, and you gotta remember, these are trained, hardened soldiers, they don't just get a little spooked. No, they start shaking so violently they become like dead men. They were literally paralyzed by sheer terror. So, what is going on here? Were these angels just evil monsters? Not at all. The terror they caused wasn't about malice. It was about something else entirely. They were just too holy, too powerful, too real for our reality. They were, in a word, overwhelming. And if you dig into it, there are pretty much three core reasons for this fear. First, you've got this head-on collision between pure, divine holiness and our own human imperfection. I mean, imagine a flawless being of light just appearing in front of you. Your first reaction is going to be feeling totally exposed and unworthy. Second, there's the pure shock of it, something supernatural suddenly ripping a hole in your everyday life. And third, especially in the older texts, angels were often the ones who delivered divine judgment. So your first thought isn't, oh, cool, I'm being saved. It's, uh-oh, my time is up.
Okay, so if they aren't just people with wings, then what did they actually look like? Well, let's take a little tour through the Gallery of Glory based on the real descriptions. And you might want to brace yourself because this is where it gets wonderfully strange.
So first up, we have the seraphim. These beings are described as having 6 wings. And get this, they use 2 to cover their face, 2 to cover their feet, and they fly with the other 2. They're these fiery beings that serve right at God's throne. And when the prophet Isaiah saw one, his reaction wasn't awe, it was abject terror. He literally cried out, "Woe is me, for I am undone," which is basically him having a complete existential meltdown. And it just keeps building. Let's talk about the cherubim. The prophet Ezekiel describes them as this storm of different faces. A man, a lion, an ox, an eagle, with wings and wheels that are covered, completely covered in eyes. And they move like a bolt of lightning. This isn't something you can just look at and understand. It's a total sensory overload, a being of pure power. It's utterly alien. And this brings us to a really crucial point. The fear is directly connected to how much of that divine glory is actually visible. So on one hand, you've got the shepherds. They see an angel shining with the glory of the Lord, and the result is intense, paralyzing fear. But on the other hand, you have the story of Lot, who meets 2 angels disguised as ordinary men. Their glory is hidden, and there's zero fear. He just invites them into his house for dinner. You can see how this overwhelming terror creates a pretty serious problem, right? How are you supposed to deliver a message from God to someone who is literally frozen in fear? Well, it turns out heaven has a kind of standard operating procedure for this, a necessary first line of dialogue to get things started. That phrase, "do not be afraid," it isn't just a friendly suggestion. It's a powerful tool with 3 critical jobs. First, it has to stabilize the person, because let's be real, you can't understand a divine message when you're terrified out of your mind. Second, it reveals their intent. It's basically saying, I am not here to harm you, this is grace, not judgment. And third, it invites participation. It swaps that terror for trust so the person can actually engage and respond. And this gets even cooler when you look at the original language. The Hebrew phrase al Torah isn't some gentle suggestion. It is an immediate corrective command. It literally means, you are afraid right now. Stop it. It's a direct intervention designed to snap someone out of an existing state of fear.
And we see the exact same idea in the New Testament Greek. The phrase mi phobou means do not continue in your fear. So it acknowledges that the terror has already kicked in, and the command is to stop that process in its tracks. The message is clear: break out of the fear so you can actually hear what's coming next. And this pattern is just unbelievably consistent. I mean, from Gideon, who's sure he's about to die, to Daniel, who literally passes out, to Mary, and of course back to the shepherds. The sequence is always the same. There's a divine appearance, then this explosion of human fear, and then that heavenly command to stop the fear before the real message can be delivered.
So, why does any of this matter? What's the big takeaway? Well, this consistent pattern of terror followed by reassurance isn't just some quirky biblical detail. It actually reveals something incredibly profound about the nature of these encounters and about the character of God. First off, it shows us that God completely understands our human limitations. He knows we just can't handle a raw, unfiltered divine encounter. It also shows that grace always comes before revelation. Comfort is given before any instruction. And maybe most importantly, it shows that the whole point isn't obedience that's driven by terror, but a relationship that's built on trust. So when you boil it all down, do not be afraid isn't just a comforting phrase. It's a functional command. It actively creates the necessary condition for a human being to even be able to receive a message from heaven. Without it, the signal would just get totally lost in the static of our own terror. And I just want to leave you with this one final thought, which I think frames it perfectly. Every single time an angel says, "Do not be afraid," it's heaven making this profound declaration. You are safe in the presence of what should, by all rights, completely and utterly overwhelm you.